I'm Sonia, and I'm here today with my friend Carolyn. I invited her here today and our dog Bentley, invited her here today to share her experience with the Lose 10 Pounds in 20 Days challenge. Thought she could share some of her insights and how she felt, and if she was starving or if she was not starving and stuff like that. So let's get started, and let's just start with kind of your why. Why did you want to try this, and what else had you already tried?
Yeah, I had broke my ankle about a year and a half ago, and while I was on the mend, I was just sitting around not being able to exercise, and I was in the middle of COVID, and so I put on like 15 pounds, and I was ready. I got to get myself back in shape, now that we're out and about, and I just felt really sluggish and stuff too with all that extra weight on. So I kind of went back to how I would normally have eaten, and went on back to the really low carb, lots of animal protein, very little fruits, and then lots of, salad and that kind of stuff. Okay. But it did not work at all. It was so weird and frustrating. I kept gaining weight actually, and my stomach got more bloated, and I did not know what to do. So then I tried Noom. My sister had done that, and she's like, hey, give it a try. And so I did that for about 3 months, counting all my calories and everything, and actually I kept gaining weight. I was so frustrated. And then I was talking to you about all that you were learning, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to try something new, because maybe my metabolism has changed, or the way I was eating just wasn't working, and it worked.
So here
I know, here we are.
Yeah, it definitely worked.
Yeah.
So the program we're talking about is based on Dr. Fuhrman, Joel Fuhrman's G-BOMB concept. So it's greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, seeds, nuts, and very little animal protein. And at first, Carolyn was very reluctant when I said, I think in the 20 days, there's 3 occasions to have meat.
Yeah.
And it's kind of more like a condiment. Meat is more like a condiment. So she was pushing back a little bit with the meat. So what was your takeaway with kind of how it felt and how hungry you were? And
yeah, I remember telling you, I'm really not interested in becoming a vegan. And you were like, that's okay. Yeah, you do get to have some animal protein, but just not as much. It's just not as good for you. And so we were like, okay, we'll give it a go. And surprisingly, the menu items you had, we felt like we ate so much food, and we were full, and we didn't really at all miss the animal protein, so we were surprised.
Yeah. You were shocked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Carolyn did it with her husband. So they did it as a team, which I think is good if you have a friend or a partner to do it with, to kind of share the meals and so forth. And there's always extra food for men.
Yep.
Bart always got a little extra.
Yeah. And he was worried that he would feel really hungry or not have enough energy, and complete opposite happened, which was surprising to both of us.
Yeah.
He had plenty of energy.
Yeah.
And plenty of energy to work out and everything. So I think that was our big surprise.
Yeah. And I think Bart lost in those 20 days, was it more like 17 pounds or something?
I think he lost 17. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a lot. But this is a scientifically proven program, not just from Dr. Fuhrman, but from Dr. McGregor, who's nutritionfacts.org, and the Ocean Robbins. And so it's like a very well-studied, scientifically backed kind of program, but it is a pretty big deep dive foray into eating plants. But I think what is exciting about it is you learn how to eat plants and beans and mushrooms and onions and all this stuff. So there's lots of flavors and lots of food.
Yeah.
But what you're doing is you're filling your stomach with highly nutrient dense food, so that craving for all this other, processed food goes away because you're actually feeling satisfied because your nutrient load is full.
Yeah.
So what happened with, so they work out at a boot camp and they're pretty active physically, so they were worried about the protein part. So
yeah, we were totally worried about the energy and like, would we be able to still do this? And we were so surprised, like we actually had more energy, which was great. It was, and I think also when you start losing the weight, it becomes easier to get, stronger and, stay motivated. Yeah. So Bart and I, neither of us had any problem and with the diet and having enough energy to work out. So that was a huge surprise.
that's good.
Yeah, it was really good.
I think that Carolyn isn't saying, but I think she got a pretty nice
Oh
compliment.
yeah, I totally forgot. It was so fun because this gal who I work out with all the time, one day she just comes up to me at the end of the class. She's like, "Oh my gosh, I cannot believe how fit you are getting. Every week I see you and you're like getting fitter and stronger." And I'm like, "Oh!" Like I was so surprised, and it was such a good compliment. I think.
Yeah.
And it made you feel really motivated.
And she didn't even know that you were doing this.
No,
Right?
yeah, it was really great.
So the other important thing is like yo-yo dieting is worse for us than just losing weight. Like if you lose weight and gain it back, lose it and gain it back. The average woman loses her weight 9.1 times over the course of her lifetime.
Oh, wow.
So I asked Carolyn also to talk about, she did this back in June, I think it was.
Yeah, I think we started in May.
In
actually.
May, yes. Yeah.
May 10th or something.
Right.
Yeah, I came back from vacation and
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, it's time.
And today's like November 12th, I think.
Yeah.
And so tell us a little bit about, like, did some of the recipes stick with you? Did the weight come back on? Has it stayed off?
We've just been sticking with the concept. We add a little meat or egg every now and then, but we really liked the recipes, and I think the way we've been able to stick with it though is we do a lot of meal prep. Like on Sundays I make breakfast and lunch for like a couple of days, and then like on Wednesdays I make breakfast and lunch for a couple of days too, so that I'm not trying to do the meals in the morning when I wake up, and or I grab and go bad food,
Yeah.
So that has really helped a ton.
Okay.
And shopping like ahead, like on Sundays and Wednesdays to get enough. So you have to really be think about it, but don't leave anything to chance, and fill the house with the things you want.
Yeah.
But we've been able to, I've been able to keep off all of the 15 pounds that I lost, and Bart's actually gone on to lose more.
So great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, but it's like part of the lifestyle now,
Yeah.
and you feel so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just eating live plants and live food, and opening up your fridge and it's exploding with.
I know, it's hilarious.
all the greens.
Yeah. I was like, compared to how I was eating, what I've loved is the amount of fruit I get to eat. Like I think I was kidding with you about, I hadn't had a banana for like so long, and I love bananas, and so now I get to have them, and all the berries I get to eat, and apples. And we were never big on eating beans, but now we're like totally into it, and lentils and all that kind of stuff. It's been great.
That's good to hear, because I think there's been a lot of controversy with beans over the years, and now they're almost like the key to weight loss. Like they're so important.
Yeah.
So kind of the way this works is you get a shopping list for 5 days, and then you get another shopping list for the next 5 days, and then all the breakfast, lunch, and dinners there's a recipe, and it's all spelled out, and you can switch the lunch and the dinner if that's easier for you. There's always a soup, kind of a big hearty stew every few days, so you can use that leftover for lunch the next day.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that kind of thing where there is flexibility. But one of the big things is, I think Carolyn has now changed her breakfast. I can't remember if you were an egg kind of eating.
Yeah, exactly. We used to eat a lot of eggs for breakfast.
And what's your go-to breakfast now?
And something I never would have eaten before, I eat a lot of overnight oats.
Okay.
And we also drink a lot of smoothies.
They're like green smoothies, right?
Yeah, the green smoothies that are really flavorful. And I eat tofu now for breakfast and veggies. So
I love it.
yeah, I just made that today, and we love that.
Yeah.
So all kinds of things that we didn't eat before, but it really holds me over all the way till lunch.
Good.
Yeah, so I know that's part of the key to the plan.
Right. We don't want anybody starving. You do feel full.
Yeah.
And kind of like I said about the nutrient part, you're just getting so many like superfood nutrients. This is a diet that prevents cancer. It prevents heart disease. It prevents diabetes. It prevents dementia. Like, this is a way to maximize your life and your health. And I so 100% believe it with everything that I've learned. So I'd love to share it with the masses. So hopefully this was helpful. And thank you, Carolyn, so much for sharing your personal
been wonderful.
story.
Yeah, I've been so happy to have the chance to do it.
Yay. Well, thank you.
You bet.
Okay.